Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Here I am, fresh and refreshed, or not really at all, back from holiday, from an unmitigated disaster of a holiday. It was, it wasn't great. It started badly. We were on our way out to the Isle of Wight, about to get on the ferry, and our kid drops his phone out the window, smashes into a million pieces on the tarmac, and just generally continued in that vein. We got there, the lodges weren't ready, they were still trying to check us in at 9 o'clock at night because they decided to fully book the place despite, because of coronavirus, only operating on half staff. It ended up with, we collared a barman who came and did our room for us and allowed us in, and as a result the place was a tip, and just, yeah, everything was broken and filthy, and oh my god, that was the setup for the holiday. Bought sun cream from a gift shop that didn't work. Kid got sunburned, like one of the little ones. And then we got home and took an earlier ferry, left the holiday early to try and get my kid back for a leaving due at his school because he's moving up to high school, and he missed most of it because our car broke down on the way back. So yeah, it was great. It was really good. So I'm feeling refreshed. Ready to go. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to focus on the good times, and in that vein, we've got some good times coming up right now in the form of a ladder match, which is going to go down on Osiris. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ka-ching. It's going to be a good game. Instant loading is what we like to see. Let's check out our players up here at the top in the red corner. It is none other than Mozy, our first spiky space socialist, opening first land. And in the blue corner down here, my good friend, none other than Swkoll, going UEF. Opening a first land as well. So it is the age-old battle. Good versus evil. Red versus blue. Capitalist versus communist. You know the rest and how it goes. But here it is. Osiris. I'm not actually sure we've had this map before. There are so many maps out there. And I'm going to be previewing a little thing that they've finished a little bit later on. Maybe in an upcoming cast. I can do some stuff with Exotic Retard and what have you. And Nile 9. The promotions counselor, because they actually have a map generator now, a on-the-spot map generator which creates a new map every time. And you know what? You would think it would be awful, and it really isn't. It comes out with some really unusual maps, sometimes maps where you can't even directly reach the opponent. You're going to have to do lots of drops and build lots of places here and there. But that is, I mean, it's just insane. So looking forward to getting into some of that. Let's check out these guys, sandy but slightly sea-based openings. Here they are. We've got first land for both these guys, as we said. Second air next to the hydro, all very standard. No P-gens there for Swkoll. One P-gen for Mozy. Swkoll just going straight for the hydro. How's his power balance? He got that up in more than a nick of time, really. It wasn't particularly close, so that's a very efficient start with him. He's then going to go 3 T1 P-gens. Just to soak up a little bit of extra power, and then, or create a little bit of extra power for the soak, which will be the air units coming off of that air factory. And then we got 2 more P-gens there for Mozy, so essentially it's 3 P-gens and hydro the start for both these guys, just in different orders. And they're going to need that early air factory, because of course this is what you might refer to as an archipelago. You might not refer to that, because that might not be it. It's a bunch of islands. That's it. It is an archipelago. I'm sure I haven't just made that up. But anyway, so the main islands there, you've got what looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4 mass on one side, 3 on the other, 2 in the middle, and then decent amounts of mass actually smattered around on these other ones. One very lonesome mass point right in the center, but with lots of reclaim. And nicely shielded, actually. That might almost be defensible if you got there quickly. I don't know. It's you'd probably take some kind of governor cruiser to come along and ruin your day, sneak some cruise missiles over the top. But the first air units are out there. Scouts crossing one another on Mozy's side of the water. And we've also got our first transport out. That's 4 or 5 engineers on board there. It is 5 engineers laden, going straight to that island to his left, and he's going to drop 1 or 2 off there and then carry on down to the island at the 9 o'clock position down here. You're going to drop in next to those 3 mexes down there. Excuse me. How are we doing on transports for Swkoll? He's working on his first there. He spat out a few inties first of all, and he's managed to lock on to the transport. Transport's ditched 2 of his engineers, and he's going to go, nope, 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 nope. Going to try and get these guys offloaded. Oh, a little bit of cat and mouse. He would have done better, actually, I think, to go straight for the island, but he realizes he's not going to make it back to the island. He's going to try and drop them off on the sea, which he does. Transport lands on their heads, takes those 2 engineers in the front down to 45 hit points, but they survive. So, not a terrible, terrible loss there, but didn't manage to get across to the 9 o'clock position. I almost wonder if he'd just gone straight there and hadn't bothered going back, he might have made it there, but who knows? We will never know. Swkoll moving out to the east with his comm on his Todd under the water there. Gonna get a land factory on the beach. And now he's got a transport with 5 engineers as well, going out to the 3 o'clock position over there, I think. Yep, he's actually going for both, so he does want to get some of that reclaim in the middle. Yeah, definitely going for that side island. Have we got another transport coming anytime soon? Yes, we do. So more drops on the way for Mozy, who also incidentally manages to spit out a bomber right before that skyhook, and that bomber is heading to the 3 o'clock position as well, preceded by an air scout. It's going to give him good intel, so this could be interesting. Might be a bit difficult for Swkoll. Hasn't got any inties in the area. Has got a bomber of his own, though, heading out to that 9 o'clock position, and he's well scouted those 3 engineers that are now on their Todd on the way to 9 o'clock. But engineers clumped. They're going to go straight for land factories. Quick split will save 2 of them on that first pass. 1 of them going down nice and easily. Will they manage to finish that land factory? It's at 2,500 hit points and climbing of 4,000. But there's also a transport coming in from Mozy, and now that position being built just by 1 engineer, and off get 4 Cybran engineers. There's 2 more on the transport. Is he taking them somewhere else? Does manage to finish the land factory just in time, but those 4 engineers, sorry, will get an auto gun up almost at exactly the same time that spits out its first tank, and it will be no match for firepower of that magnitude. Down it goes, and the land factory will likely be shortly after it. Engineers get to work on a land factory of their own. Meanwhile, over here, Bomber has 3 kills to its name, so no dice for you, little engineers, who are now swimming with the fishes. A little bit of Cybran pollution there. Cybran, as we all know, big fans of polymers, just to make sure when they die they do extra damage to the surrounding ecosystem. They really are the worst. T1 PD online. So 2 engineers. He's got a radar system in there. Got a railgun. And he's got a decent amount of reclaims. So it's a nice little snag. It'll be a while before that's dislodged, potentially. We'll see if Mozy sends any bomber squadrons that way. Working on more interceptors and air transports for the time being. A lot of naval yards queued up there. 4 of them. And now Mozy finally decides it's time to move his comm out of his main base and take it to that top left island. Swkoll harassing that 3 o'clock position now with a bomber. 7 kills to its name. I think that might be the same bomber that picked up the 3 NGs on the other side. Another NG down. This is good hampering from our UEF player. And Swkoll goes straight now for the 9 o'clock position with 6 engineers. No messing about. He wants this. He needs this just to be breaking even with his opponent. Get that all-important midpoint island secured. As another transport inbound from Mozy. Does have a decent fighter escort trailing behind it. So he's not going to be able to shoot that down, but there are 4 engineers, as we said already, and they're working on their second factory. They've already spat out 2 more, and that first factory now focusing predominantly on tanks. This is going to be a hard battle for Mozy to win. He is operating from behind. We all know how he likes to operate from behind. Bomber down finally. So Mozy looking a little bit more secure now on that 3 o'clock position. Another transport inbound, and this time he's going for the beach on the other side. Swkoll not wanting to give up on that eastern island. Let's take a look at generated eco, and Swkoll's behind. So 61 to 45. Both of these guys currently on the 15k bracket. Unfortunately, we can't be more precise. It looks like Swkoll might be about 500 mass or so up. So maybe a bit less, maybe 300 mass up, but not much in it. So he's been doing well out of the reclaim side of things. Helped no end, I'm sure, by grabbing that little island in the center with all of the big rocks that were strewn around inside that. So Swkoll not going straight in for the kill, but is that because he doesn't actually know where they've landed? He's just got a couple of tanks out. That could be a nasty surprise waiting for him in a minute. We've already got 2 factories online. There are 4 more queued up. And they're starting to produce the little replicators of doom. There they go. Could be trouble on the way for Swkoll if he doesn't get a read on that early. Well, they've spotted it now. The 2 tanks get opened up on as they sit over watching that beach. Engineers immediately get to work on some defenses, so there's a defensive point for the tanks to withdraw to. They want to try and stall this incoming vanguard for long enough to get those PD online, or at least one of them up and running. Trouble is, there are now Medusas turning up. Over on the sea, we're getting our first frigates entering the theatre. Mozy's going to send his right the way around the edge of that 3 o'clock island, try and put some pressure on that beach position. Radar looking vulnerable right there. Incidentally, I hope the levels are alright for you guys. I've knocked back the game sounds just a bit from previous casts. People still suggesting they were a little too loud, so hopefully it's all coming through at a decent volume. Actually going pretty well for Mozy. Mantis takes the first bit of fire from that plasma cannon. Swkoll had all the advantages here, but he just didn't scout, didn't read the danger. If you look at it now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 UEF factories versus 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a 2-to-1 differential. There's no way Swkoll can keep up with that production. Cheeky little engineer reclaiming mexes down there. So Mozy not actually in control of the eastern island, but it's still more or less 50-50. I don't think we're going to get a breakthrough there. And it looks like Mozy is about to take the western island. I'm not sure Swkoll's going to be able to do much about it. So far behind. First few frigates from Mozy's enter the harbour area of Swkoll's main base. 2, 4, 6, soon to be 7 naval yards online for Swkoll, compared to the 7 which are already online there for Mozy. Just getting slowly bulldozed over on that western island. Cheeky little gunship turns up though. Just the one of them. Just the one of them. So T2 air there for Swkoll. No Sky Slammers in the mix as yet. I'm sure they will be under construction though. Or you would imagine so. But he's not going to let up. He's going to push on further in. Another gunship turns up. Could this be the weapon that stems the tide? What is the etymology of that phrase? What does stemming have to do with slowing or stopping things? Answers on a postcard or in the comment section below if you know what on earth that's about. Swkoll still got that one T1 PD. Units of a Cybernation slowly trickling in virtually single file, which always helps. T1 PD, not much else Mozy can do about that. It's a narrow entrance to that top plateau there. Actually a lovely little feature of map design. Defensible positions, nice little raised bottlenecks. We are starting to see more Sky Slammers turning up now, making life less simple for that gunship response. And there's been a refocusing, a redoubling of efforts from Mozy over in the Eastern Island 3 o'clock position. He's got T2 gunships of his own now. Renegades tearing into those factories. Swkoll going for the T2 upgrade on his comm. There it is. So, control restored over there. The 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock battle rages on. Swkoll just about holding out with his 2 factories. He's lost his point defense, but these gunships with their sizable T1 escort, Cyclone escort, just about holding things at bay. Frigates getting to it in the middle. Seems to be going relatively evenly, maybe slightly in favor of Mozy, who's got more reinforcements heading that way all the time, but of course reinforcements have less distance to travel for Swkoll, who's embarking on T3. That commander, and that's going relatively quickly. Has he got the mass to sustain that? Well, he's now fully stretched. He's got a long way to go, 13%. Not looking great right now for Swkoll. It's about 10 mass behind generated eco. He's about, what is that? About 7k mass behind on total mass so far. So that early reclaim advantage he got early on has definitely dissipated. Still in control of that little central island, but not really going to assist him that much. Air Force of Mozy's going in hard after these torpedo bombers, and now they're going to get engaged from behind. Swkoll comes in, he's going to pick off a few here. That's a very nice engage indeed. That has definitely gone well for Swkoll, and now he's got a little fight over the top of that T1 anti-air as well, which will add to the mix, but the numbers perhaps just too much. He's going to withdraw. There is a cruiser here and a bulwark ship coming out as well. 74% done on that T3. Reducing that. So boats knocking on the front door of Swkoll's base. Mozy firmly in command of those 2 side islands. T3 complete. And a T2 transport lying in wait. It's vaguely exciting. Oh, where's he going? Comm loaded. T3. I smell hot dropper clock. And he needs something. He needs a a royal game changer, because Mozy has won the battle on the two side islands, is now forcing an incursion on that bottom right island. That's a solid drop right there. Calm out over the water. Needs to be very careful. This is hugely risky. There's a lot of inties right there. One quick engage and it'll all be over. Swkoll ferrying his comm very close to the action. What's the intel like? Well, there's intel over here. If he carries on. He hasn't shown up. Where did he go? He's double backed. He went, nope. Didn't like the look of that. That was very close. That would have turned up there for a second had he gone just a little bit further. Now, God, it's like he knows. Mozy will see that, but will that be enough? He's having some power issues, so he's not got consistent radar coverage. That's a very bad time to have power issues when your opponent is trying to sneak a con drop your way. Oh my goodness. There it is. Are we going to get a response? We're not going to get a response. Oh my goodness. Have we got an offload point? He's going right in for the main base. Mozy's comm underwater with the naval yards. I can't believe he's going to make it. There are a fresh band of inties off the conveyor belt over here. Don't stop there. What are you doing? Quick, get the comm on the ground. He's going to make it. Where are the inties? He's snuck him all the way into the main base. And now Mozy has some problems. Check out the build power on this puppy. T1 PDs, the order of the day to begin with. He goes straight for 5 of them, switches up. No, 6 of them. 5, sorry, and then a railgun. Then another railgun, then another railgun, then an air cleaner. Wants to protect that comm. T2 power generators falling thick and fast. Now we have a T2 point defense for a little extra firepower, and another one queued up after that. What's the response? The response is attack. Mozy offloads a whole load of Mantis and Medusa at the edge of the main island for, excuse the infinite zooming, but we're going to have to keep an eye on these 2 theatres now. Swkoll well defended. He's got a SAM there now as well. Solid anti-air coverage. Got a radar. And he's just going to start tearing up this base. And there's nothing Mozy can do about it. And it's absorbed so much of his attention. He's only just now giving a kill command, a go command for that drop that's been on the ground. That will have given Swkoll a little extra time, although I imagine he's pretty focused on what's going on up here at the top of the screen. He's got 2 land factories down now. There goes another point defense, and another land factory queued up after that, and he's going to try and defend his main base with 3 stingers. And Swkoll moving in his naval vessels, which are throwing up some anti-air against the T1 drops that Mozy was going to bring in to try and help the situation on his main base, but it's not going well. Meanwhile, over on Swkoll's base, engineers trying to get PD online, but they get slaughtered as the Mantis pile in down that narrow plateau there towards the main base. More factories dropping all the time in Mozy's. Swkoll receiving no fire at all. He's at full health at 15,000 HP. Where is Mozy's comm? Mozy's pulled his comm away from the fleet of Swkoll, who's busy absolutely annihilating his naval yards. Soon that will be the end of all of his naval production. Mozy going to move over to that northwest island Engineers have been busy in the main base for Swkoll, meanwhile, throwing up some triads up at the back. And with the help of the Stingers, that's the end of that incursion, which did so much damage initially up here, but has well and truly petered out on its way down. Swkoll has lost 5 mexes there, but he's taken down 5, and the core 5 of Mozy's up here at the top of the screen. Mozy's still way out on eco though. Look at that, 135 to 64. Are we power locked? We're not power locked, so that's genuine representation. Mozy is 2 to 1 up in eco right now, and that's with losing his main base. That's how much he's put in elsewhere. But the question is, can he now immediately turn that mass advantage into weaponry to help him regain the lost territory? Because Swkoll is in a fiercely defensible position right now, going straight for a clink hammer, having built lots of point defense down here to help contend with these frigates, which are actually going pretty down pretty fast anyway, even without the presence of the artillery. Doesn't even need to finish that clink hammer, but he does. Those destroyers, those Valiants from Swkoll tipping the ballast, so he had a tech advantage anyway on that front. Mozy does have more naval yards that he's rebuilt over in the east, and they're busy spitting out frigates which are heading over towards Swkoll's main base. It's got all of the Medusas in the world piling up at that 9 o'clock position. Now what's happening? What's Mozy's plan now? Mozy has moved over here. He's wide open, unprotected. All he can do is stand and look at the island where he started. Oh dear, that's one very unhappy socialist. But then they generally are, aren't they? Most of the time. Left-wing contingent of my fan base throwing all their toys out of the pram. I love you guys too. It's all in jest. Lord knows, as conservatives, we're the butts of most jokes. So this has been completely transformed now in the hands of Swkoll. And going in now in a big way after the island that Mozy's trying to make himself his new home. 45% done on a T2 upgrade. It's already queued up new energy production and some shields to boot. But this is a major issue. Can't contend with the gunships. Where is his air force? I mean, it's been somewhere in amongst all of this. He's lost his air force in the exchanges, and of course his main air production facilities were all in here, so he hasn't been able to replenish it. He's got a few inties back here, has new air facilities that he's got up and running, and he will manage to snag those gunships, but not before they've done a whole bunch of damage in there. Look at that, 1, 2, 3 mexes down, hydro gone, another mex down over here. And now he's got this fleet to worry about, equipped with cruiser no less, so that's going to be trouble for the inties and of course the ground units. Superb reach those things have got, and now Swkoll is pursuing Mozy. Mozy, who's just about to get T2, but a T2 Cybran com versus a T3 UEF com is not going to fare well in base wars, and that's what this is probably going to turn into right now on this island. And with the navy around here, Mozy's beginning to look more and more cornered. Transports away, largely empty, one filled with some sky slammers. I'm guessing another drop inbound potentially over here, or maybe he's bringing it to reinforce his comm, who seems like he's in a bit of a perilous position. Torpedo bombers out over in the east for Swkoll, looking for targets. And Swkoll just happy to sit under the water for now. I thought he was going to go charging in. Now he's on the move again. Mozy, not even at full health. 7,400 hit points in climbing. Swkoll at full health at twice that. This is a very lonely place to be right now if you're Mozy. Surrounded by that navy and a comm who's got more mojo than you inbound. If he is at all aware of the impending danger, probably not. Just trying to get re-established, most likely. Swkoll from the water, going to go straight for triads on the beach. Queuing up 5 of them, and a 6th up here. See, Swkoll would want to put as many vessels up here as possible to try and contain that comm. But he has got to worry about what's happening over here. This is rapidly expanding frigate force. But Mozy now well behind in eco. 77 to 108. This is a very strong position for Swkoll. Played the drop absolutely masterfully and completely turned this game around. Very ballsy. One wrong move on that hot drop and it would have been game over. There's no sitting duck like a comm on board a transport surrounded by enemy fighters, and it's actually a Ravager. I thought it was a Triad. Maybe he changed the build order. Mozy moving the other side of the hillock, protected by the land from that new defensive installation, and now he's bringing in a relief force on the water. His frigates coming in to assist. Not going to fare too well against this position. Swkoll not waiting to finish off the shield though. Cover these up. No, he wants to pursue that comm. "30 minutes down, and would you just look on the ever-shrinking sphere of influence around that Cybran commander. Mozy running out of places to go, staring into the abyss. Starts more land factories. Even that side island over here has been whittled away at as T2 vessels from Swkoll have passed it and knocked things out, and now we're starting to get T3 broadswords, T3 gunships out from Swkoll, heading straight up towards Mozy's position. Attack missiles, no. Artillery from that clink hammer that was built earlier. Ravager still online, but the Triads are down. He didn't finish that shield gen. I'm sure he'll get a solid installation up here though, although the Juicers rolling in with their pesky EMP. And now solid point defense creep on the menu, and in comes the T3 broadsword. Straight after the burst master that Mozy's trying to get online. He does manage to get it online, but he's not going to kill that broadsword. He's working on another one, and all the time the amount of flak is increasing and more broadswords are on the way. I think this is well and truly a lost cause. Mozy says draw, and Swkoll laughs in his face, as he's right to do. judging by the current situation, he is well and truly trapped. Swkoll playing masterfully in my favourite manner with a hot drop. A base in your base, as Lag TV would tell you. Base in the opponent's base really is one of my favourite strats. Good to see they're not totally out of fashion. There you go. That's how you turn it around, ladies and gentlemen. When you're doing really badly. He wasn't doing really badly, but he was definitely behind. What was he on? He was on these two islands down here. He had that central island. But all of this was in Mozy's hands. And, I mean, obviously it sapped a lot of resources getting that T3. So that didn't help him hold this island up here or contend for anything else. But, and it could have gone so badly as well. He almost waltzed his transport straight into a horde of Mozy's fighters. But alas, for Mozy, it was not to be. Masterfully played, very entertaining. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. And if you want more, you don't want to have to wait till next week, there is a VIP cast up on Patreon, guys. All you have to do is sign up for $1. $1. And you can go view that right now and join the crew. So please consider doing that. Thank you to everybody who donates so far and joins. You mean the world to me. But until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.